The dystopian future is now the dystopian present. So we have this article from the Daily Wire here. Do as they say. Minneapolis police tell residents to be prepared to give up personal belongings to robbers. Yes, this is the reality that we are now living in. We now have the chief of police telling people to be prepared to just give your stuff away to people who are going to steal it from you because there is nothing that they are going to do to help you. Something's got to give. And so Minneapolis police informed residents of the city's embattled 3rd Precinct to prepare for giving up their personal belongings to potential robbers and advise them to do as criminals say for their own safety. Let that sink in for a minute. The police are telling you to just do what criminals say. That is the world we are now living in. That is the America we are now facing due to these far-left extremists and the people who are not strong enough to stand up to them. I will not be doing as they say. I will not be laying down. If people know that they can go out and they can rob you with impunity, they will rob you with impunity. They have to know that there is a threat that there is a threat of recourse if they try to assail somebody. The police should not be telling us to just lay down and take it from these people. Never. Never that. So, according to a July 28th email provided by Alpha News Minneapolis or Minnesota, that was also forwarded to the Daily Wire, the Minneapolis Police Department offered prevention tips to residents hoping to avoid being a victim of the skyrocketing cases of robbery and carjacking that have plagued the city since George Floyd's death in May. I don't know why we're putting up with this. I don't know why our police are putting up with this. Guys, you are selling out the long term so that you don't have to deal with short-term backlash in the present. This is weakness. This is that whole scenario, and that hard times create strong men create good times, good times create weak men. This is the weak men stage, when even our police are just laying down and saying, we will go, you're on your own. And at the end of the day, I shouldn't even lay this all on the police, really, because this has to do with the city council voting to defund the police. The police are actually, their hands are tied. There's not much they can do here. But they shouldn't be telling people to take it. They shouldn't be telling people to just bend over, because that's what they're telling people to do. Robberies and carjackings have increased in our precinct, the email begins. Cell phones, purses, and vehicles are being targeted. Some victims have been maced, dragged, assaulted, and some threatened with a gun. Most of these crimes have occurred north of 42nd Street East, north of 42nd Street East. 100 robberies and 20 carjackings have been reported to the 3rd Precinct Police in July alone. Downtown and southwest Minneapolis have seen an increase as well. We want those who live and work there to be safe. So, here we have this from Ian Miles Chong. He says Minneapolis is about to turn into the rape capital of the world. That sounds about right. But you hear in the police memo, they say, be prepared to give up your cell phone and purse/wallet. What are we in Venezuela? I mean, this is third world country shit. You should not have to deal with this when you're going anywhere that you don't need a passport to get to. The left is bringing the third world to America. And then it says, despite all of our efforts, robberies may still occur. Do not argue or fight with the criminal. Do as they say. Your safety is most important. No, our safety is not most important. Our freedom is most important. That is why Benjamin Franklin said, Those that will trade a little bit of liberty for a little bit of security deserve neither and shall lose both. Because when you start kowtowing to this, if you do as they say, and you're prepared to give up your wallet, your phone, your purse, your jewelry, whatever it is they want from you, then you are only going to exacerbate the situation and you're going to increase the frequency that these things are going to happen. So no, do not listen to what the police are telling you. This is how you make the situation worse. It's, I've told you guys before, I'm from the Atlanta area, and there is an Atlanta suburb on the west side named called Kennesaw. And ever since 1982, they've had a law that every single homeowner must own a gun. And between 1982 and 2013, they had 0 gun murders. It took them, what was that, 35 years to have a gun murder after requiring that all homeowners own a gun. Now, of course, they don't enforce that law. They don't go house to house checking. But what it does is it creates a culture in the community that tells everybody's armed. So don't try anything here. So when everybody's armed, what do? You be polite, because an armed society is a polite society. So do not. But if you lay down to these people, if you unilaterally disarm and say, okay, yeah, if you're gonna come at me, sure, you can take it. I'm ready for this. I'm ready to be robbed. That's going to embolden the robbers, and they're going to increase in volume and frequency. The email goes on to list several tips that citizens can supposedly use to protect themselves, which includes letting criminals have what they want. Do not walk alone. Be hyper aware of your surroundings at all times. Pay attention. Carry only items you need and carry less cash. That basically just means carry only what you're willing to lose. Be prepared to give up your cell phone and purse/wallet. No, fuck that. Have keys ready in your hand as you approach your car. It sounds like they're going to like Nicaragua or Venezuela. You know, you go to visit the jungles of Colombia. You might have to deal with FARC. No, you're going to Little Mogadishu. In fact, Mogadishu might now be safer than Little Mogadishu. Despite all of our efforts, robberies may still occur. Okay, I already read that. Be a good witness. When you call 911, be prepared to answer many questions. How many suspects? Age, height, complexion, hair, and eye color. Scars or tattoos, weapon, what did he look like? What direction did they leave in? Vehicle description. What you're going to get is you're going to have somebody pull out their cell phone, they're going to video something happen, and then the robber's going to see that they're being videoed, and then they're going to come after that person. I mean, they're basically deputizing the society, the community, saying, make sure you get evidence for us, because otherwise we're going to be so inundated, there's nothing we're going to be able to do. This email also lists suggestions to avoid carjacking, such as never leave anything of value in your car and never leave your car running unattended. Since many of those whose cars have been stolen were dropping off food or other deliveries. This email comes after liberal Minneapolis City Council took steps to defund the city's police. I think the police department in exchange for a transformative new model for cultivating safety. I keep having to say this, but liberal, or not even liberal, left-wing gobbledygook Marxist fucking rhetoric. Transformative new model for cultivating safety. So clinical, so academic. Life doesn't work. Life doesn't live in an academy. You're not cultivating safety. You are leaving people unarmed. Transformative new model for cultivating safety. I mean, this is 1984. I mean, this, and actually, I wanted to do a video on this, but honestly, I didn't know that I'd end up being able to go long enough on it. There is now a trend of lefties on Twitter trying to claim that 2 + 2 can equal 5, literally, like they said in 1984. They are viewing 1984 as a guidebook at this point, not a warning. We literally have people on Twitter now saying that 2 + 2 = 4 is a colonial, white, oppressive understanding of mathematics or some bullshit like that. I kid you not. And in order, the arguments are all rhetorical too. They're like, well, if you're working with whole numbers, you could have a number that's really 2.4, and then you add that to 2.4, but they're rounded down to whole numbers, which is 2, which becomes 4, but if you take the full thing, it's 4.8, which if you put back into the closed system, it's 5. So there you have 2 plus 2 equals 5. What the fuck are you talking about? I mean, there's no logic. It's so impossible to follow that they have to change the equation in order to make it work. So they have to change the rules because that's all they do. They move the goalpost, they change the rules, they redefine reality, they redefine words. The logic of 2 plus 2 equals 4 is sound. Here are 2 fingers. Here are 2 more. There's no way that these come together and create 5 fingers. It's 4. Anyways, I'm not going to go any further into that. I just go onto Twitter and look up 2 plus 2 equals 5, and you're going to see George Orwell. You might hear George Orwell screaming in his grave from across the Atlantic, wherever he's buried. I'm assuming it's England. All right. So, transformative new model for cultivating safety. Derek Chauvin, who knelt on George Floyd's neck for more than 8 minutes until he died, was an officer with the 3rd Police Precinct, which served as the epicenter of violent protests that broke out in the wake of Floyd's death. On May 28th, Democratic Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey evacuated the 3rd Police Precinct, after voters torched it and destroyed other businesses before the National Guard arrived. And of course, we saw CNN reporters sitting there with the flaming precinct behind him saying, oh, it's a mostly peaceful protest, as the police precinct literally burns behind him. Orwell's nightmare is coming true, and I'm not sure how to stop it, because it does not matter. They will lie straight to your face. You will show them that they're lying, and they will just look you in the eye and keep telling you the lie. They want to beat us down till we eventually just break and say, fine. 2 plus 2 equals 5. Just shut up. I'll go along. That's what they're doing. There might only be one solution. We're not there yet, but this Civil War might be the only way to rid this, and I hate to say that. I'm not trying to promote a civil war. I don't want a civil war. I don't want the violence. But I'm never going to go along with this shit. I don't care how crazy you drive me. I'm never going to go along with this. And that was the whole point in 1984. Remember at the end of the movie, he truly loved Big Brother. They beat you to your breaking point. Don't break. Don't even bend. All right. On May 28th, so the National Guard arrived. And if anybody saw when he came out and actually talked to the Black Lives Matter protests, and they asked him, do you support abolishing the police? And he said, I believe in reforms, but I can't say that I agree with abolishing the police. And they booed him out of there. And I have never seen a weaker man walk so sullenly with his tail between his legs as Mayor Jacob Frey did, walking through that crowd as people jeered and booed him. Let's see. President Donald Trump blamed the chaos in Minneapolis at the time on a total lack of leadership. Yep. If you walk the way that Mayor Jacob Frey did, who he should have told them, you don't run this town, I run this town. Get the fuck out of here, go home, and let me do my damn job. But no. Nope. He tucked tail and run. So, lack of leadership, and accused the rioters of being thugs who are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd. Twitter censored the tweet for allegedly violating Twitter's rules about glorifying violence. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Anyways, guys, so what's going on here is they're trying to get rid of the police, not because they don't want anybody enforcing authority. That's not what's going on here. They want to get rid of the police as we know it. The ones who enforce the rule of law as defined through the Constitution, through constitutional practices. They want to get rid of those police, and then they want to replace them with their own morality police. They want to replace them with the police that are going to go to, was it Ken and Karen? They were jokingly called the guys the the couple in St. Louis that held the guns. They want the police that will go and arrest them, despite the fact that they did nothing wrong. Everything they did was by the law. They had every right to hold to have those guns. They had every right to use those guns. Missouri has an incredibly strong castle doctrine, so when you had people break down the gates of their community and come storming through, they had every legal right to defend their property and to tell them, not here, not here. But what happened? You had a DA who is ideologically aligned with Black Lives Matter, and so they didn't care that this couple did nothing wrong. They moved to charge them. The police came and they confiscated their guns. In fact, they tampered with the evidence to show that the lady's gun actually did fire, even though they had reversed the firing pin. So it's going to get to the point where it's already there in Britain, where they're going to come and knock on your door over a tweet you sent out or a video that you made, and that's the police that they want. And we know that because we saw exactly what happened in Chaz, or CHOP, whatever you want to call it. You know, the autonomous zone in Seattle. The second that they had their own space, what do? They set up barriers. They had armed people going around. They patted people down. They searched people. Hell, they even murdered a 16-year-old. Apparently fired like 300 rounds into a car, killing this guy. They were extorting money from businesses, which is what you actually see Black Lives Matter is now doing. In Chicago, they tried to extort this Cuban community, and the Cuban community is coming together. I guess we're going to have curbside Cubans as well as the rooftop Koreans defending their property from these Black Lives Matter activists. And, I mean, it's more like Black Lives Mafia. That's what it is now. It's Black Lives Mafia at this point. And they want people that are going to be aligned with the Black Lives Mafia. So they don't want to get rid of police. They just want to get rid of our police and replace them with their own, in which you will be victimized. No justice will be served. And any constitutional rights that you have grown accustomed to will be thrown out the window if you are not on their ideological side, unless you bend the knee. Well, I can tell you right now, I will never bend the knee. You will have to kill me before I will bend the knee. I'm not the greatest Christian in the world, but I do believe in the tenets of Christianity, and God says do not bend the knee to another man, and I do believe in that. I do believe you never bend the knee to another man. So I will never do it, and if we have to fight, then we have to fight. I don't want to fight. I want to go back to watching baseball and drinking beer with my buddies. But we don't always get what we want, and sometimes duty calls. So, anyways, guys, I hope you like this video. I mean, this is alarming. So, I mean, I use loosely, but please go ahead if you haven't yet. Please subscribe to the channel. I notice a lot of people that watch the videos, they don't subscribe. It really helps me if you subscribe. It's just clicking a button, like the video, share it. You know, I need all the stats that I can get. It's only a matter of time. You know, I'm a young channel too, so I don't really get a whole lot of algorithmic help. But the stuff that I talk about doesn't help either. You know, YouTube is always suppressing this kind of content. Not just from me, but from all kinds of content creators like myself. So it's really tough just getting started because we're not only fighting the oversaturation of the market, but we're also fighting the algorithm that doesn't want us to succeed. Also, I do have a BitChute account. I'm now promoting this. I've had the BitChute account for quite a while, but I upload all my videos on BitChute as well. So go subscribe to me on BitChute just in case I happen to get banned off of YouTube here. I do have another place where I have my videos. Also, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Parler at Thorburn. And if you're interested in helping the channel out, contributing to it, there are links to my Subscribestar, Patreon, and PayPal down in the description below. I'm working right now on getting my next episode of Revved Up out. I know there's been a long gap. I was on vacation, and then I had a whole bunch of stuff to do with my actual job, and then I've been pumping these out. I haven't really had a whole lot of chance to get to the next episode, but it's going to be about the mass media, and I think it should be a pretty good one once I'm done. So I'm working on getting that out, so you may not see quite as many videos of these Ram Reacts coming out over the next few days, because the way that I try to do the Revved Up is once I hone in on it, I like to go full bore and just work 10 to 12 hours a day strictly on that. Hardly even eat. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you back here for the next one. Have a good day, guys.